Добрый день, здрасте, это Песков. Слышно ли меня?
Добрый день, слышно хорошо.
BBC News.
Foreign Agent 1163.
This is the country that once it starts repression, it's very difficult to end.
Aren't you frightened? Aren't you scared?
I'm shaking.
Россия добилась полного цифрового суверенитета.
Any Google search, that doesn't work.
The idea is to divide Russia from the outside world. We are losing the future. Our bright future is our dark past.
You know, for so many years, Russians were encouraged to believe in what they call here sветлое будущее, the bright future. Now, that bright future never seemed to materialize, but the hope that someday it would, the belief in progress, the belief in a future that would be better and brighter, that hope was real. Today, though, with no end in sight to Russia's war on Ukraine, and at a time of sanctions and economic problems, I rarely hear Russians now talking about the bright future. In fact, with what's happening right now in the country in terms of more and more prohibitions and more restrictions and growing repression, it feels like instead of looking to the future, Russia is staring into the past.
This list just gets longer and longer. These are Russian citizens and organizations who've been labeled foreign agent by the authorities. This label, in the main, is used here to punish critics of the Kremlin. Foreign agents have limited rights. For example, they're banned from teaching, from taking part in elections. If they sell their flats, they can't access the assets. But this is also designed to stigmatize, to create the sense in society of the enemy within. And in that sense, it's reminiscent of the communist past, when some citizens were denounced as traitor to the motherland or enemy of the people. Now here's a familiar name, someone I know. Foreign Agent 1163, Nina Khrushcheva.
I think at the beginning of the war there was about 300 foreign agents, and now they've grown this incredible amount. You know, the country went on the repressive road, and this is the country that once it starts repression, it's very difficult to end. All of this is basically outsourced to the siloviki, to the power forces, and the more power you give them, the more power they take.
In recent years, Russians have got used to being connected to the outside world. But in another sign of a return to the past, the authorities are trying to break that connection. So, for example, global messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram are being blocked, and people here are being strongly encouraged to switch to the new state-approved, state-backed messenger, which is called Max. Here it is, this is what it looks like. Many Russians are deeply suspicious of it, fearing surveillance. But also, in many parts of Russia right now, there are restrictions on mobile internet. Only certain government-approved sites are accessible. It's part of a push to create what the authorities are calling a safe, sovereign internet for a sovereign Russia.
The idea is to divide Russia from the outside world, because this world is poisonous to the brains of Russians. The West was the source of bad ideas, revolutionary ideas, liberal ideas. It was always like this. But how to live without internet, how to live without communications.
The internet restrictions are not only causing a lot of frustration, they're affecting businesses, like this one.
My name is Yulia. I have a catering company. There were times recently when our internet site was not accessible for our clients, which was really painful because we could not generate revenue from it. Internet is very important. It's like the air we breathe. And my whole business was built on a concept that we are using internet in our day-to-day life. Without internet access, my business in this format will not exist at all.
We're on our way to a town about 120 miles from Moscow. It's one of a couple of dozen Russian towns and cities where local activists had requested permission from the local authorities to hold public protests against restrictions to mobile internet and against internet censorship in general. And in each case, permission has been denied. Now, the official reasons given for these rejections differ from town to town. So in some towns, the local authorities have said you can't hold a rally there because of coronavirus. In other towns, they've said, no, you can't hold a rally because of the threat of drone attack or missile attack. And in one town, they said you can't hold a rally because of a roller skating masterclass at the same location.
Меня зовут Юля, я активист из города Владимир. Я решила провести митинг в своем городе против блокировок интернета. Мы подали на несколько площадок на выбор администрации. Через какое-то время нам пришел ответ, что на 29 марта согласовано быть не может. На всех 11 площадках в нашем городе будет происходить уборка механизированными средствами с 9 до 7 вечера.
На всех?
Да, на всех.
Это полицейские привезли?
Да, это предостережение от прокуратуры. Я вышла с работы, полицейская машина, 3 человека. Они снимали это на камеру, как я подписывала вот это вот предостережение с начальником прокурора. Как будто бы я себя почувствовала каким-то террористом.
Почему для вас важно было все-таки заниматься этим, попытаться? Хотя, наверное, мало надежды было, что получится.
Надежды было крайне мало, но важно было показать, что нам не все равно, что нас это волнует, что мы хотим отстаивать интернет, чтобы власти поняли, что это нам важно, что это часть нашей жизни, и просто так молчать, я не смогла промолчать.
Here in the center of Vladimir, like in many parts of Russia right now, there are restrictions on mobile internet. Let me show you. So there's only a limited number of government-approved websites and services that I can access. If I want to, for example, read the Russian government newspaper, their website, that opens for me. I can go onto the Kremlin website if I want to. I've got access to that. And I can also order a taxi in the town. But any Google search, that doesn't work. And no access to independent news websites.
Конечно, это беспокоит, конечно, это влияет на повседневную жизнь, это дискомфорт. Сегодня не смог на заправке оплатить, машину заправить. Навигатор плохо работает, карты, и все такое.
Хочется быть в центре актуальных новостей и трендов всего, а здесь мы, получается, немножко отстаем от них, да.
Я могу себя занять и без интернета, у меня есть чем. И книги, и театр, и все прочие, да, и дача.
Конечно, нужен интернет всем людям. Всегда это все равно, что когда-то в свое время лампочку изобрели, свет. То же самое интернет. Люди привыкли к интернету. Нужен интернет всем людям.
В России много лет говорили о прогрессе, что будущее будет лучше. То, что случилось с вами, вот эти отказы, о чем это говорит?
Это ощущение деградации. То есть мы откатываемся назад, в прошлое. Ощущение прогресса, чисто вот за себя говорю, ощущение прогресса я точно не чувствую. В принципе, как я думаю, что прогресс невозможен при условии, что мы как бы глобально, от глобального мира отключены.
Over the years, many Russians have said to me, Russians are very good at adapting to sanctions, to economic difficulties, to the loss of civil liberties, to internet restrictions. It seems to me that if you're so focused on having to adapt to a constantly changing situation, that leaves less time, less space to think about the future, to plan for the future. Surviving today becomes the priority. Well, we've seen how difficult it is in Russia to get permission to hold a rally or a street protest. Back in Moscow, these people are trying something a bit different. They've come to the Presidential Administration Office in the center of Moscow to submit a petition calling on President Putin basically to end internet restrictions. But as you can see, it's a very, very small group of people that's come out today. The suspicion is that people are quite frightened to come out and demand their constitutional rights are restored. I mean, since we arrived here a few minutes ago, we've been filmed quite closely by security officers on the street. Coming to the Presidential Administration building, that really is putting your head above the parapet. And there aren't many people who are prepared to do that in the current conditions.
My business is entirely on internet, and each time it's a huge loss for me. And I'm supporting my own family, and I'm supporting families of my employees, and therefore we are losing money every time there is a blockage of internet, there is a blockage of Telegram, there is a blockage of WhatsApp. We are losing, and no one is caring about me. So I need to care about myself here as well.
Aren't you frightened? Aren't you scared?
I'm very. I'm shaking. I'm very scared.
Do you think that coming here today will make a difference?
I don't know. Probably not. But it's what I can do.
Добрый день, здрасте, это Песков. Слышно ли меня?
Добрый день, слышно хорошо.
BBC News.
Да, пожалуйста.
Спасибо. Блокировка популярных мессенджеров, ограничения в работе мобильного интернета.
Борьба с VPN. Вот все это вызывает озабоченность.
И раздражение в российском обществе. Насколько в Кремле в курсе такой общественной реакции?
Насколько озабочены этим и подобного рода запреты
и ограничения. Это разве не путь в прошлое?
Нет, это не путь в прошлое. Сейчас ситуация, когда соображения безопасности диктуют необходимость принятия определенных мер. Эти меры принимаются, и, безусловно, большинство наших сограждан понимает
целесообразность этих мер и необходимость этих мер.
Понятно, что ограничения в работе интернета вызывают неудобства для многих граждан, но сейчас такой период, после того, как необходимость принятия этой меры исчезнет, соответственно, и работа будет полностью восстановлена, нормализована.
I don't think that this regime is ready to go back. They only can go forward in terms of more repressions. Maybe it can stop for some time, this machine. It could move slowly, but it will not go back to democracy, to liberal values, to human rights. So we are losing the future. And people who are suggesting some images of the future, they suggest the past. Our bright future is our dark past.
It feels like Russia is on a road, actually, that it's speeding down the highway towards a future that kind of resembles the past. And I think that this is a key point in this journey, because there is growing fatigue with the war on Ukraine and clear frustration at the government's attempts to restrict connectivity. Even some pro-Kremlin commentators have slammed internet censorship. So it'll be interesting to see whether their voices will be heard. Or will those driving Russia speed on regardless to the destination of their choice?